Hey everybody. There's nothing to see here. Everything was working flawless.
Unfortunately,
I'm
that's
Brent,
true.
that's Bryce.
All the time.
Every second of every time. That's Bryce over there. Twins Talk Tech, episode 57. It is right now.
Correct.
We were talking just a second ago about something that I closed last week with what might be my can't live withouts. They were just acting a little bit of a pain in the tail. Of course, Apple just recently released, excuse me for the sniffing, new versions of these. The second version with wireless charging for the case, $200. Or you can buy the regular, still the second version of what's inside the actual meat of the product, with a non-wireless charging case for the regular $160. But if you want the wireless charging, that jumps the price up to the old $200 price point. Anyway,
and since you're talking about it now, what is the difference between the old and the new?
I don't know all of the differences. The main one is there's Hey Siri built in. Thank you, Siri. Siri, she really wants to please. So there's that built in. Better battery life, some faster switching between devices. Like right now, I'm using the AirPad on the iPad. On my way home, I was using it on my iPhone. So if I was going to switch between them, it would switch faster.
Okay.
Faster call connections. So some things like that. And in numbers that don't really make that much of a difference. For instance, I don't remember which metric it was, but one of them was like 2 times faster. But when you're already dealing with just a few seconds, negligible to me. I think the main thing people really wanted out of it was that wireless charging case, which I don't use wireless charging here. So it doesn't matter. And I'm definitely not paying $40 more for it. I really like these things. If something were to happen to them, I would really be like, oh, do I want to drop $160 again? Could I convince my wife? Could I sneak it in the house and she not know? Well, those are the types of questions we need to ask ourselves. But $160 for these, as much as I use them, I like them. However, $200, that's where it would push me to the probably not. But anyway, so that was the pre-click record discussion that we had. It just happened to be on one of the products that I mentioned last week, was probably in that category of, as far as technology goes, can't live without. Do you have anything on your side? Would you able to come up with any ideas as to what maybe you can't live without?
Well, what I've come to understand is I could probably, although I'm the nerd that I am, I could probably live without it all, which is good, by the way. It's good to know that about yourself. Obviously, the phone is something that I've gotten used to when it comes to communication. I think as a society, we've gotten so used to instant communication, instant gratification, that when you don't have it, you really feel it. And one thing you'll probably notice, my wrist is bare. There might even be a little bit of a little tan line situation going on. So
now, do you look down out of habit?
I still do.
Have you caught yourself doing that?
Yeah, it's only been a day. So yesterday, which was Sunday, we were as a family working on a couple of projects. One included being outside with a can of spray paint. We were graffitiing a local wall here in town. No, just kidding. But my son says, Dad, what's wrong with your watch? And I said, I don't know, son. Let me look at what? The screen had popped up on one corner. And I don't know how. Well, I know how. The glue got loose and something pushed it up. But I don't really know why. I think it's because the battery bloated. That's what happens to a lot of these. But I don't know for sure, because when you look at it, it's microscopic. But that's all the amount of room you have inside the watch case.
Was it a really hot day, or did you notice it being hot on your wrist at all?
No, I do feel a little bit of warmth on my wrist a lot of times, but that could just be me being crazy. But yesterday, no, it was about 70 degrees outside. While I do unfortunately tend to bang it on things a lot, accidentally, of course. I didn't, at least that I know of, that day. So the assumption is the battery bloated and it just kind of unfortunately popped it off. Now the good news is iFixit has parts to fix it. They consider it a difficult replacement, the battery. So I bought the battery and I bought the little $7 for a sticker. But it's super thin and it's, to hold the screen in place. So I bought a new one of those as well. So the Apple Watch, while I'm only a day without, I wouldn't say that I can't live without it by any means. But I can say that if it were to completely die, I would attempt to get a new one, to buy a new one. Now mine is the Series 0, so the very, very first gen. And it's been fine. I mean, the new features and the new watches, while great, I don't really know if I would ever really need them. I use it mainly for messaging. For a while there, used it for audio, but I don't anymore. Because again, my phone is with me so often, but what's up?
I was just wondering, do you have it on the latest operating system, or will the latest operating system even work on it?
No. No and no. I have it on the latest operating system that will work on it, which I believe is 4. Was it watchOS 4?
Sounds right. I'm touching the mute button on my microphone, and it doesn't want to work every time, so that's why I keep doing this. I'm a little sniffy today, so I'm trying to save. Bryce isn't being saved, but the rest of you, I'm trying to save a little bit here.
It's great. You guys are missing out. But so that's it. So I'd say the phone, man, there's not really, for me, the Bluetooth in my car, maybe, because that's one thing that when they were talking about getting us cars here at work, honestly, that's the only thing I really cared for. Obviously, being able to fit into it, that'd be nice, right? They didn't make that one. They got Ford Escorts, tiny little hatchbacks. So, and especially the people who did the purchasing, they don't know what we do. So they think what's cheap, what's going to fit these, fat people in, and what can get in between A and B. That's all they cared about. And the 3 people who apparently went to go look at these vehicles, they're all under 5'5". So the car was probably roomy and spacious to them, but me and a few other guys who are not 5'5", it's just a tiny thing that it's a pain to get in, a pain to get out. I carry a ladder most places I go, and it doesn't fit, so that's great. But since
they put a rack on top,
no, it's actually got to go in the inside. That's the main reason it doesn't fit. So, but they've since taken away, given it to somebody else, and now I drive a Ford Escape. So equally as bad vehicle, but at least it's bigger. So good. But anyways, the point of all of that is...
Happen to have Apple CarPlay in there by any chance?
No, not even close. It has Ford Sync, which is, it's okay. I have Toyota's version of Ford Sync, and I would say they're on par with each other. Nothing's greater than the other one. But
Sync, isn't that a Microsoft product put into
it? Was, and then Ford actually bought it.
Okay.
Yeah. It started with Microsoft Sync, and a few Ford then bought the whole Sync brand. But the main thing I really wanted with the car is the Bluetooth. Like my wife's car, my car, get in, the phone attaches, and it just starts playing. I know that's how lazy I am. I can't take a cord and plug it into the dash or something. But I don't listen to radio. It annoys me. Listen to those disc jockeys or whatever they're called nowadays. No. Commercials I can deal with, but I don't want to. So Bluetooth, boom, it's got to have it. The new car did. The car I drive now, which is, again, I believe an Escape, does not, but I had an extra little Bluetooth receiver, and the dash had an auxiliary input. So I just Velcroed the receiver to the dash, plugged it in, and so it serves its purpose. It's not as glamorous or as clean, but it still works. So Bluetooth in the car is probably the main, techie, nerdy kind of thing that, again, I don't want to say I can't live without, just like you were hesitant in saying it, but that's the biggest deal for me, on a nerd level. All these other things I know enough to make do with whatever I have. So that's good. And it helps me in a lot of ways.
So taking that Bluetooth on to the next level, do you ever use Bluetooth on computers or do you have another headset outside of Apple or the AirPods? Do you Bluetooth elsewhere, or is it basically the connection between you and the vehicle? Is that your biggest, or only maybe? Because for me, that's my only. Outside of these AirPods, my kids, both of them, my son primarily, we have Bluetooth headset, headphones, and Bluetooth adapters, receivers, and transmitters, flip a switch on their TV. So if we go to bed, they can put headphones on and still watch TV. I don't typically do that. So for me, it's this and really the car. So those are the two things for me. Is that about with you, or do you use mice or some other connection with a computer or something?
Yeah. I should probably show it, talk about it one of these days. It's a Logitech mouse. I forget the model, but it has the typical little USB device that connects between the the receiver, right, for the wireless mouse. But then the mouse also has Bluetooth in it. So when I'm using, as an example here at work, I can use, actually, when I'm at home, more specifically, that little receiver is plugged into my laptop at home. But then when I bring my work laptop, the Surface, home, I can hit a button on the mouse. It switches over to Bluetooth, and now it just starts working on the Surface. So that's super cool. I have attached this, my AirPods, to both laptops, my work and my home laptop, so that I can use, wireless YouTube or whatever it is that I'm doing. I can't use Bluetooth to edit in Premiere. The audio is very stuttery. And I don't know if that's just because of how it communicates or what the problem is, but every time I go to edit in Premiere, I have to disconnect the audio and then hardwire the connection. But those are the main things I do use Bluetooth for. We do have the Apple TV at home. It supports Bluetooth audio. And so the kids, if I'm sitting there working on something and whatever they're watching is annoying me, I'll look at them and I'll just point to their ears. That means put the headphones on. And so they grab the headphones, and they're these collapsible Sony things that I got on sale a long time ago, but they're Bluetooth and they work. The kids put them on, and I always tell them, leave one ear so you can hear me if I need to yell at you. And then that's how they listen to. We have, Sennheiser makes I think it's a RF. No, it's radio frequency headphones. So we have the receiver / transmitter, I should say transmitter, on a desk. It's actually hardwired into the TV, and then via whatever frequency on the headphones, they can actually listen to it there. But it gets a little staticky, so they use the Bluetooth most of the time. The positive side to the FM radio is they can use multiple headphones, because again, it's just a radio frequency. The positive side to the Bluetooth is it's clearer, but downside is only one connection at a time.
Have you noticed any lag from the audio from the TV to the Bluetooth headphones? Because that's what we noticed with a few of the headphones we have that are older, the Bluetooth ones, because they're all cheap. We have one pair of Sony ones, but I think they use Bluetooth 3 maybe. This represents the headphones. I got them on sale for whatever at the old Best Buy, but we have some even cheaper ones, just these ones that look like junk and they feel like junk, but they're faster. Are they newer? With the Sonys, what's that?
Are they newer?
I don't know. When I got them for probably anywhere from $10 to $15 on Amazon, and I didn't pay attention to how long they've been out there or even what version of Bluetooth they had. But I just got them because I had some credit there and I was able to get them. And the Sonys had that lag, so whenever I used it, it was annoying. Just enough lag to be just like, that's irritating me. So I ended up getting those. And it also may have been the transmitter / receiver. That could be old as well. But anyway.
Well, if you're noticing the problem on one headphone but not the other, right, it's probably not the transmitter. Unless you're seeing it on both, but worse on the other. So it could already be the transmitter is causing a problem or a big delay or a minor delay. But then your headphones are causing an extra delay because they're older. So it is nice to have, if your headphones are Bluetooth 3.0, get a transmitter that's 3.0. They're backwards compatible, blah, blah, blah. But when they're on the same, I've noticed things tend to be a little better. Apple TV is already a mild delay, interestingly enough. Apple toilet paper. Apple TV plugged directly into a television, listening to it from the television. There's already just a microsecond delay it's enough to see it. Not enough to be annoying, at least for me, but it's enough to see.
What version do you have? Apple TV?
Apple TV 4, not the 4K, but the 4.
Huh. We have the 3, and I haven't noticed that problem. But we go HDMI TV, but optical to our Blu. It's not really a receiver. It's just a Blu-ray DVD player, but it acts kind of like a receiver for that. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, and that could be part of it because we're going HDMI into the television, using the television's RCA out to go to a little cheesy soundbar. So, but anyways, you have all these extra components and they pile up, cause problems. But that's pretty much it. Bluetooth, just in general, an overarching Bluetooth theme. The Mevo that I'm connected to my iPad right now is using Wi-Fi, but you can connect via Bluetooth, and it works surprisingly well. So Bluetooth in general is probably just a great thing. I don't know what cancer it's giving me right now, but it's everywhere. So even if I turn it off, I walk past somewhere else, it's going to be there. But yeah, that's the thing is with all of these technologies, finding a way to use them in your life, which is great. But I would always recommend, especially anything that runs on power, anything that runs on battery, don't rely on it. Just like your car, as great as it is, and you need it to go to and from work, you rely on it to do these things. But then when it breaks down, you realize, what pickle you're in. So these other devices, try to rely on them as least amount as possible. I've often thought about, we've talked about it as well, one day maybe just getting rid of the phone, the iPhone, and getting a flip phone. Just bring it back to basics. The problem is most people in my life don't call, which I'm glad, by the way. They text. And texting, those T9 situation on the flip phones, that's for the birds. So, but yeah, so not too much going on. I love all my headphones. I think headphones in general, I use and my kids use. My wife, not so much. She doesn't like the pressure. She doesn't like things in her ear. So, her not so much, but my kids definitely. Matter of fact, most of the time, I bring a good pair of headphones home, then they disappear. And it's usually in their room somewhere. That's why I try to buy them something, and then my son ends up gravitating towards my headphones because they're usually a little, not always, but a little better. And I think I showed it a long time ago, one of the first episodes. I bought a Bluetooth receiver that I Velcroed it to the side of my Sennheiser headphone and plugged it in. It looks totally ghetto. I like to call it steampunk, but whatever. But it sounds good, and it makes it wireless. So. But that's pretty much it for me in all that regard. I will, next week, hopefully when it comes in, or 2 weeks, give an update on my watch. It is important enough to me to use it, to have it, because I just today alone, it's what is it, 1:30 or 2 o'clock or my time, and I can't count the amount of times I've looked at my wrist and been reminded of the tragedy that occurred yesterday.
Have you tried? I'm just thinking with your watch. I started that whole thing off wrong because I already know the answer because it doesn't exist. I was going to say, have you tried with your watch to have Siri read your text? But I know that doesn't exist on the watch, especially. But as you were talking, I was thinking if I can even do it here. Hey Siri, read me my last text from Bryce.
I found your most recent message from Bryce. Kay, would you like to reply?
No. I knew CarPlay will do that. I didn't know you could do it directly on the phone. Now I know. So I wonder if that would be a benefit to the new AirPods having a device built into it. You might be able to do that without that, not require that watch, but you'd have to be willing to talk out in the open as opposed to just do this.
Snore.
So anyway, how do you...
$150, no thanks.
How do you respond, or do you? Is it just to read your text, or do you do the scribble, or do you type? Do you talk if you reply from your watch?
Depends on the scenario. 9 times out of 10, I just look at it, I reply, and I use the scribble feature to draw out a reply, or just simply send an emoji, a quick emoji to get the message through. I think I've tried to type before, but it's embarrassingly small, the little keyboard. The scribble works better. I don't really send the heartbeat. I don't send any other things like that. So all the extra features are nice, but I don't use them. That's why I don't even care if I get a new watch. That'd be nice. Sure, great. The newest one is even better because it is a bigger display. That always helps, especially my old eyes. But just to be able to communicate, I could probably get by with other watches, but basically it's $30, $35, like $40 after shipping and tax and blah, blah, blah. It's better than $130 or $150, $200, whatever it is, the cheapest you could buy now. But
yeah, I thought I was muted. I was not. It's going to be a great episode of me doing this a lot.
Yeah, that's why
I was trying to hit the button. Yeah. Anyway,
so that's pretty much it. I do want I haven't talked myself out of wanting a gigantic iPad Pro, the newest version, but because it costs so much and I don't have that kind of money and I don't need it, I've got to try to balance it, and I might try to sell my current iPad and get just a new iPad Air. It's faster than the 2018 model, or iPad, whatever they call it. And it supports the pencil. I know the other one does, but it's faster. Why buy old when you can buy new for not much more? But that's not priority. Mine is working. My wife's is not. My daughter's, hers is, but it's damaged. My daughter's is damaged. So those are probably the 2 priorities in the house. Poor me. But I might have to wait.
So it wouldn't be a pass down? You couldn't make the excuse of passing one down and then replacing that open position in yours?
Mine is the 9 point whatever, and theirs is, they all have iPad minis, all 3 of them. So to trickle anything down, my daughter might get my son's, and we'll get my son the newest one, but I have to balance things like that because they're really not that much difference in age. There's a little bit, but not much. And I don't want anybody to think there's favoritism in anything. And we don't have enough money to buy 3. I say that, and maybe next month I'll do some side jobs and we'll get 3, but who knows? At the moment, no. So time will tell, but the prices keep going up on Apple stuff. And, if people are buying it, I get it that Apple's willing to do it. They're a company, they're all about making money. I don't buy the fact that they're putting extra innovation in, thus the cost. I think people who are buying these new stuff at the higher costs are actually paying for the innovation in other things that, Apple, and it does matter. That's my guess on the reason why Apple's raising their prices. But I can't tell. Okay, you look like you were frozen, but you're just waiting to say something.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't waiting to say something necessarily. I was just holding my hand here, trying not to shake the microphone. But as far as the pricing goes, I agree. I don't believe it's so much the innovation as it is they know they can get it. They're already higher end. And so as Samsung has crept up and kind of sat a little bit at that $500 price point, they want their things to be a little higher. They did, of course, come in with the new Air at that $500 price point, which is a nice machine. I would wonder how many of the smart keyboards they will sell at $170 or whatever that thing is for a $500 iPad.
I wouldn't do
it.
That's for sure.
I did with this guy, but again, for me, this was a laptop replacement, and I knew I was going to get a keyboard, and it is the one that I use the most. You could, of course, use it pretty well any keyboard if you have an adapter, USB, or, of course, Bluetooth. But I would not, if I was coming in at that $500 iPad Air, you're a third or more of the price of that thing to toss a keyboard on there. When you know they're going to have cases come out for $40 that'll have some cheap little keyboard.
Yeah.
So to be quite honest, the case isn't amazing. It's just nice that it doesn't take battery life or require another battery to charge. But
Well,
not
it
to ramble
does.
on about a different topic.
It does on the new iPad because there's no pogo pins. It's still a Bluetooth keyboard that has its own battery.
On the new Pros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not the new Pros. The new 20. Actually, it doesn't even have a keyboard, does it? It's just a folio. It just covers it.
What are you referring to?
The iPad
The Pro?
Air folio.
Well, no, it will take the. You can buy the same case if you had the 10.5 Pro, the keyboard case. This guy. My assumption is it has this because it says it supports a smart keyboard, which is this. And this is not Bluetooth. This works off the pins, as you were mentioning.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Because
yeah.
the pins on the Pro are on the back. The pins on the Air are on the side, like this. So
it does
the
have
design
pogo
of the current, I believe so. I have not actually looked, so this is not a Brent has confirmed. But in everything that I've heard and all of the descriptions that I've read, it is basically the 10.5-inch Pro where they have, what did they lose? The refresh rate of the screen, I think, is 60 as opposed to 120. And other than that, almost everything else is basically the same. And that includes those pins where the Pro case, the smart case, as I would assume the folios as well, but this speaking specifically of the keyboard, should work as well.
All right. Well, I guess I'll have to double check on that. Because I didn't know they had pogo pens. I thought it did not, but I don't know. Anyways, that's all for me. My guess is that's all for you. Sounds like we're both being attacked by allergies right now. I just had a wave of something hit me. Right? I didn't mute myself, but I probably should have. Should have. I can't even talk today. I'm not even drugged up yet.
Well, we're rolling past 28 minutes, and I just missed my. I think the only sniff that crept through here. Again, Bryce has been getting a barrage of them for the last half hour or so. But the only thing that's gotten through this microphone is a bunch of little clicks of me missing the button.
If you do it right,
to get it.
We'll see.
Yeah, you got to get it right on there. It's a pretty tricky little guy. I don't know if yours is sensitive or not, but this guy, he's kind of a pain to mess with.
I wish there was something we could talk about another day because I'll probably rant for 5 more minutes. But I need to clear my throat and my nose, so we're going to end here. He knows what Brent needs to clear. So thanks for watching, and we'll see everybody next week.
See ya. Take care.